Okay, guys, and we're back with another episode of the Seth Solo Side Quest. I'm Seth from the Lonely Stunner podcast, and this episode, despite being a few weeks removed, I'm going to talk about Ben Whittaker rematching Liam Cameron. And now this was a fight that the first fight ended in some controversy. It was at light heavyweight, which is both of these guys' weight classes, and Ben Whittaker allegedly had an injury when they both fell out the ring. You know, looking at the footage, it's kind of hard to see where Ben Whittaker really got an injury. It looked like a pretty soft landing, somewhat. Being honest, Liam Cameron got up straight away, but Ben Whittaker said he had an injury from that, and that I believe that was like a no contest in that fight or whatever happened there. So they rematched. And to be honest, looking at the styles of fighters of both of these guys, I think it's kind of established that Ben Whittaker is the better boxer out of the two of them. But over a 10-round, over a 12-round fight, could Liam Cameron, eventually get to him and wear him down and maybe draw him into some sort of slugfests in the mid-range or some trading exchanges, kind of force Ben Whittaker into that. And if Liam Cameron can, then he's got a chance. But looking at the odds, you'd think Liam Cameron was basically as good of a boxer as Ben Whittaker was, which this certainly isn't the case, right? I was really, really surprised seeing how close the odds were for this, because I'm thinking everyone should know Ben Whittaker is the better boxer than Liam Cameron. Now, when you're the guy who's the better boxer, then you should be quite heavily a favourite. Obviously, there's a chance your opponent could beat you. Of course there is, it's boxing. But if you're the better boxer, you should be quite heavily the favourite, and that wasn't the case. I mean, my only regret is that I didn't put more money on it. I put money on Ben Whittaker to win, obviously, because he's the better boxer. It doesn't make sense to bet on the guy who's not the better boxer in a boxing match, right? And probably part of the reason why I hadn't made this video sooner was partially because I thought I'd already made it, to be fair. Then I was looking on the channel and then looking at my previous uploads. I'm like, I haven't even made this video, right? And the other reason is because I didn't have any notes on this video. Because normally when I'm watching these fights, I'm making notes round by round. But Ben Whittaker knocked him out in the second round. So I literally had no notes regarding this, right? I think someone was saying maybe it's an early stoppage. Immediately, when he got stopped, I'm thinking, is that it? Like, you're not even going to give the dude a standing 8 count, but when you see the replay and then you see Liam Cameron's leg go quite badly, and he's really wobbled, you're like, okay, fair enough for stopping it. Even though I wouldn't have done that, but I can kind of see it now. But super quick win for Ben Whittaker. First round, he's probably winning, a bit because he's evasive and he's a better boxer than him. He's outboxing Liam Cameron, and the second round catches him, rocks him, and ref says that's all she wrote. But Ben Whittaker's a very good boxer. He's a very good boxer, and when you're a boxer who's still not got a ton of pro experience, yes, he's a very accomplished amateur, but still not a ton of pro experience, to be put against a guy like Liam Cameron and have that sort of fight, that's what happens in boxing, right? That is what happens in boxing. You get put against tough veterans who have been at a decent level, maybe lost a few fights, but are still game fighters that have still got a lot to fight for, and definitely are fighters that are still trying to get their career back on track, right? Because they need to get paid. So don't ever think that these sorts of fights in boxing are gimmies, or not gimmies, are layups for the A side. Because in boxing, it's super common to see a guy face a banana skin like Ben Whittaker did in the first fight. A lot of guys wouldn't have taken this rematch in Ben Whittaker's position, to be honest. A lot of guys wouldn't, considering Ben Whittaker's hype and his brand and his record. Like, fair play for Ben Whittaker for taking the rematch. And then even more fair play for stopping the guy. Very good performance from Ben Whittaker. In my opinion, he's probably still 2 or 3 dominant wins away from being probably at the world level now. Or fringe world level. Yeah, maybe not world level, but fringe world level, when you're facing your guys like the Boatsis, the Callum Smiths, the Anthony Yards. In a few fights, he'll be at that level. And then the Lyndon Arthurs. Then if he can beat those guys, then he's world level. Then he's, David Benavidez, Bivol, Beterbiev, then that sort of level. But the future's bright for Ben Whittaker. And I think people in British boxing have known this for a while. Like I said, it was nice to see that this rematch was domestically done as well. Of course, the first fight was two Brits fighting in Saudi, and then of course they had the rematch in the UK. Going to show that, despite Turkey Al Sheikh, he's saving boxing for sure, but he's not keeping all the love in Saudi. Like for the good big domestic British fights, he will do it in the UK. Actually, I don't even know if he was involved in that. He probably was. Riyadh season somewhere, but hey, he's involved in all these shows, so yeah, he probably was. But yeah, it was a decent fight from what I can remember of it, and to be fair, what there was of it, I'm sure it was like a second round knockout for Ben Whittaker, so he doesn't get paid for overtime. But yeah, another episode of the Seth solo side quest in the bag, and I'm out. Peace.